It's juice bag.
Maybe I'll go higher on this one.
It's juice bag.
So it's juice. Let's just do a few like juice bags.
Juice bag.
I think we should do hip hop hype beast.
Okay.
Juice bag.
Noise.
Okay.
Ba-da-bum bum 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 bum. What? Ba-da-bum bum 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 bum. Bum bum. We had a really cute intro planned and Dakota made it icky.
You didn't do good at the song.
Really?
Yeah.
How would you make it go?
See, see how much like more flow I put into it? You're
Yeah.
like ba 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 ba, and that's why you get
not gonna lie. Okay, not gonna lie. I really was on the spot and kind of forgot how it went. So
That's okay.
I was
That's
fighting
okay.
for my life.
Welcome to Juice Bag, everybody. I almost said our other podcast name. Welcome to Juice Bag. What is
Woo.
today, Jett?
Today is December 27th. It's a Wednesday.
We were supposed to record it yesterday,
but we did it.
Woo!
How's everybody else doing?
We're great. Jett, speaking of how great we are, what would you rank yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 juice bag?
How is my juice bag? My juice bag is an 8.5.
Wow.
I'm feeling strong.
Nice,
And
dude.
brave.
Nice.
Brave enough to say I'm above a 7.
Ooh.
I know.
Okay. I'm into
Who
that.
am I?
I don't know who you are.
I'm a Virgo. That's what I am. And
Gross.
it's about to be a new year.
Gross.
And I thrive on that energy.
Do you know what like your moon and rising sign and all
No,
that
I know I
shit
have
is?
at one point, but I forget.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I tried to look mine up and it wanted way too much information
Yeah, it's
about like
what time you were born. I'm like,
I'm
I
like,
don't know.
that. I did learn I was born on a Wednesday, which is weird.
That is weird.
I
What
know.
a
I never
terrible
thought
day
I'd
of
be
the
a
week.
Wednesday kind of guy.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Yeah.
Ask me.
Nah.
Okay.
How's your juice bag?
6.5. Woo! Going straight down, right into the earth.
That
Crashing.
warrants a Dakota Jones special juicy sound effect.
You said juicy.
I knew you could do it.
That me,
It
I
doesn't-
put it up to your butt. That was your butt.
I hate that. You rude jerk. Okay, it's time to familiarize this podcast with something I always... This is like a scripted monologue I have in my life because of Dakota.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What happens is he lies about something that if I vehemently deny will just make me look more guilty of the thing.
Like you're embarrassed about it.
Yes.
This is what you do, guys. You make up a saucy little season story and then you gaslight. It's so much fun.
So usually when Dakota and I are in, family settings or, Dakota and I have been together almost a decade and a half. And in our teen years, he would just like say some sort of funny lie to his parents, which at that time I was very shy
not
around.
all of them are lies. Like you do fart a lot in your sleep. And you have if
going-
you've gotten older.
You're making me so mad. I'm going to cut the
Drop the
podcast.
bit or I'll keep going.
Exactly. Stop it. Okay. And so what happens is Dakota will do exactly what he's doing right now, which is like lie a bunch about things I can't defend because it will make me seem more guilty.
You remember when you used to chew your toenails? That was so gross.
I'm going to kill you.
I didn't know that was embarrassing. I'm sorry. Okay, let's just stop.
Yeah.
I'm putting my mood back up to a 7 at least.
Screw
I feel
you.
much better.
Oh, man.
This has been very therapeutic for me.
Okay. Well, how's your juice bag? You already said. Okay.
I'm out of rhythm, guys. I've been annoying to Jett for the past week because I've had a week off, first world problems from work between
haven't
Christmas
even
and
had
New
a
Year's.
week
I
off
know, I've
yet.
had like 4 days off. And like, I just don't do well with sitting on my hands. Jett and I were just talking about how like out of whack we feel without having a routine because she had last week off and she's like, I've, been feeling crazy. I feel like out of sorts.
I thought you were going to start lying again.
No.
He's being honest. Also, TMI, I've been a little constipated, which is...
Yeah, no, we are the no poop podcast up in here lately
Yeah.
because we've been eating sweets out the wazoo. That's another big reason why my juice bag is low is because I've been eating trash. I'm pretty sure I've gained like 7 or 8 pounds since the Christmas season has begun.
Yeah.
I can feel it, but like I'm out of my routine. I've barely been having smoothies lately. I've been opting for pancakes, bacon, eggs, sausage.
And a hors d'oeuvre of Hershey's chocolate.
Yes, and basically cookies and chocolates like all day. So anyway, It's all finally done. The Christmas season is over. Thank God. And so I'm finally ready to get back onto my grind. And I just haven't for the past few days. And so I've been feeling out of whack, a little bitchy, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with anybody except me. And so I'm just going to make tomorrow a better day. But today it's a 6.5. And that's how I am.
And I'm at an 8.5.
It's good for you.
And that's better than you.
Why do you think you're at an 8.5?
Well, as I mentioned, as a self-proclaimed late stage type A person, I would say recovering type B.
Oh, I was going to say critical, but yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I basically have gotten to the point that I'm in now by being so judgmental of myself. I'm finally beyond it and able to be type A so that I can pretend that I'm actually an organized human because it gives me too much anxiety not to be.
Yeah.
Anyway, so with the new year coming in, I am a resolution queen. Yeah. Like, for example, last year I set the resolution to not eat any gluten and not eat any dairy and cut alcohol for a full year. And I completed all 3 of those in full.
Very nice.
So New Year's resolutions work for me when my life is paced correctly. And I just feel like I've had the opportunity to actually be able to focus on my health and stuff this year. I lost 60 pounds. I've basically evolved into a whole new worm.
Yeah. You lost like a 13-year-old of weight.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we were looking at videos the other day that we took the first time we went to Philly, and both of us are unrecognizable.
I wish we were kidding, but like it's so true. Like I'm down, I think like 30-ish pounds. Not this week. I'm back up. I'm not back up, but I think I'm officially down to like 25 pounds because I literally gained like 5 or 8. But anyway, yeah, we were looking at photos of our first visit to Philly, and it was crazy. The profiles and the amount of makeup we were both wearing, and my haircut and my chin and everything. It was horrible. It's not horrible.
Yeah.
It's just we look different. We look
not
different.
to shame our past selves.
Yeah.
We were not in a place to be caring for our physical bodies, and we've just come a long way since then. And
It's such a stark difference. And
Yeah.
it seems like it was just yesterday.
Yeah.
The first time we came to Philly, and I was just a little round-faced baby.
It was only May of 22. So it's been a year and a half since then. Not that long.
Yeah.
So
It's so weird to think how much has changed this year. I was thinking about that today this is a total tangent. I'm sorry. I was thinking about that because like we were talking about the weight loss thing because we put on pounds and stuff like that, but also like just the house and the pets and everything else we're doing with like the job and stuff. I was reflecting, I'm still only like 2 years out of college. It's just crazy to think how much people have grown and how much I've grown and how much has changed since then. But anyway, I'm rambling.
no, I mean, it's good to reflect and be grateful about what we've seen. I'm sure I don't want to dive too much into it in this episode because I feel like come the actual new year, we're going to want to like sink our teeth into talking about our goals. Because last episode, we talked a little bit about like bucket list stuff and stuff, but I kind of want to just like reminisce on the holidays.
Yeah. You know what, folks? This is the Christmas episode. And even though I was the Scrooge back there for a second, because I'm on a 6.5, we're going to get into it with some Christmas stories that we've been teasing. We're going to get into some questions, and we're even going to talk about maybe best and worst gifts and just gifts in general. What do you think?
That sounds good to me.
Did I bring too much heat?
I was going to say, thanks for foreshadowing all of it. So now we have to remember to get back to all of it.
Oh, God.
I know.
That's a good point.
We'll see how we do.
What do we start with?
Let's start with, I have a story that I want to tell because I feel like it's very wholesome.
Ooh, everyone gather around Jett. Get around the fire.
I called my mom because I was like wanting to hear some holiday stories from her childhood. And she told me about how her family did Christmas. And I thought it was very sweet. So, fun fact, I have a lot of aunts and uncles. I don't know if I've proclaimed this. And sometimes I forget how many I have just because they're not really a part of my life as much, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom has 14 siblings. So there were, I swear, I always get this wrong. There's either 14 or 15 of them.
I remember you saying 15. That's the number I had in
can't
my
remember
head.
if it's 14 or 15. Because the reason why is because my mom is one of them. So I feel like growing up, I always heard like, I have 14 siblings, but there are 15
kids.
of them.
Let's stick with 14 then.
Yeah.
I think that's...
So anyway,
Yeah.
there were a lot of children. And unfortunately, my mom's father wasn't a big role in their lives due to alcoholism. And my grandmother, Grandma Kay, held it down for all of those kids.
Mm-hmm.
So she was basically on food stamps or the equivalent of such at the time to feed the family because she couldn't work because she was having kids or taking care of kids. And just of the times in the tiny town they were living in, everyone was Catholic. Everyone was having big families. So anyway, they had a huge family. And to make ends meet for like Christmas time, my mom told me that. So my grandma, of course, she had a lot of groceries to buy. Could you imagine?
For that many kids?
For that many kids?
No. I would just get like dog food at that point and just like
Oh my
pour it on the ground.
Yeah. How insensitive of you. So anyway, she kept that whole family fed, and I hear she cooked up some good meals for everybody and kept foods in their bellies and made each day go by. But by going to the grocery stores had these things called green stamps, which were booklets you could collect, kind of like a stamp card.
Yeah.
And at the end of each book, for every $1 you spent at the grocery store, you'd get a stamp. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the year, you could order from the catalog. They would send out a green book catalog.
Oh, okay.
And then you could order toys and goodies and things from the catalog using the stamps. So by using her like food assistance to buy groceries and save stamps, she was able to afford to get all 15 kids gifts.
Wow.
And sometimes like multiple little things.
Holy cow.
I know.
That's
Isn't that
so
crazy?
sweet. Yeah.
Like that, like I wish, because like obviously my grandmother, so my mom was number 9, and the Grandma Kay I knew was honestly pretty old because I obviously caught her at the tail end of her life, and I think I only knew her basically in her 70s and 80s. So like I'm trying to dive into my memory bank, but she was a very quiet, kind of reserved lady, unless she was yodeling.
Your grandma?
Yeah. She had a banjo and she yodeled, which was very, very cool.
Convincing.
Yeah, it actually was pretty cool. I think I was just reminiscing in my own mind about how random it was on how like quiet she was most of the time. Then she'd whip out a banjo and like yodel a song. It's like, whoa. Talked about a juxtaposition. Anyway, so I thought that was so cool that she had enough intention to bring
That's like, yeah.
save up all of those stamps to then like imagine the super mom it takes to then buy 15 presents for the kids out of a catalog. So they all got unique gifts.
Yeah.
Like you'd think at that point, like knowing me, I'd be batching everything. I'd be like, okay, everyone gets one orange, one new pair of socks, and a book. And there's 15 of you, and that is enough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd think you would, like, automate it enough to, like, make it some sort of ununique system of just, like, getting by.
Yeah.
But she was so intentional with what she did and was able to save up little gifts for all the kids.
That's the magic of Christmas, man. The magic of Christmas is a mom making it happen.
Yeah. And I just thought that was so cool.
That is so cool.
My mom said she was able to order like a little locket one year or like ask for a little locket. She said one of them was like a necklace shaped like a little dragon, and it had a little gem you could change color based on your outfit.
Wow.
Yeah. So some good stuff.
No, that sounds like great stuff.
And then one other story from my mom's childhood or teenage years, I guess, that she started that I wanted to pitch to you.
What's that?
Okay. So my mom, when she was 16, so she would always have a summer job and she'd save up. My mom was very frugal. So she'd have a summer job and then she'd disperse that money throughout the year and save it really well. So by the time Christmas came around, because she had also 9 older siblings, some of them were already having kids by the time my mom was a teenager.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there were lots of little baby, what would that be? Nieces and nephews. And then she also had 5-ish younger siblings, 5 or 6. I'm not good at math. Siblings who were younger than her. So my mom, when she was 16, she saved up some of her summer job money to buy candy. And then she homemade a piñata and filled it with candy for the kids. And she started a tradition with her sisters where they all handmade a piñata and broke it full of candy.
I love that.
And I was like, I would love to homemake. Could you imagine the tradition with your family, homemaking a paper mache piñata, decorating it, getting it all Christmas yassified, and then smashing it open, maybe instead of stockings? Or I was actually thinking maybe we could steal that, maybe when we have kids, when it would make sense for New Year's, because instead of a ball dropping, it's the piñata.
Oh.
And at midnight, we could drop the piñata and everyone can smack her down.
I love that. I wish you didn't share it on the podcast so it could be just ours.
Well,
Gatekeep.
nah, piñatas are not original, but I thought the idea of doing it for Christmas was so cool.
I think that's so
I was like,
sweet and
New
creative.
Year's would be such a fun way. And so another thing, Dakota and I, we were supposed to hand make gifts.
Oh, yeah.
I handmade Dakota a gift.
I didn't.
Mainly because I'm out of my shopping money. So I had to get creative. And I made Dakota a sculpture, but the armature underneath it is paper mache. Paper mache is so easy to make. It is just a little bit of flour, a little bit of Elmer's glue, and whatever paper you dunk in it. And then you just put it on some shape. So if you have balloons or something, you just drape it over balloons. Then you got a piñata.
Yeah.
Then you just get a painter up and put some tissue paper.
Wait, is that what my sculpture is a piñata?
I mean, you could
You're
use
not going to
it.
him, are you?
Are you?
No.
Then it's a sculpture.
Oh, good. Okay.
Well, yours has plaster all over it, so
Yeah, he's a bit heavy, but he's a
wouldn't
good
be
guy.
good for smashing. But yeah, those are some stories from my mom's childhood that I thought I would pass along because I don't know. I feel like there's nothing more special than a mother of 15 to 14 kids who made it happen, made it work, and managed to get them all unique gifts by strategically saving up. You know?
I would be so curious to hear from other listeners in the past if they've ever talked to their parents about how their parents made it work, during Great Depression era and stuff like that.
Yeah. Not to throw shade, but I'm going to throw a little bit of shade.
What?
Recently, I've joined the Neighborhood app.
Oh.
And I'll get email notifications. I don't have the app, but I signed up just so I could see the up and up every now and again.
Yeah. Are you talking about Nextdoor?
Yeah. No, it's Nextdoor, but it's called the Neighborhood or Neighbors app or something like that.
Okay.
And so I saw a mother on Christmas Day begging for people to bring her Christmas gifts for her 2 kids. And I don't know their circumstances, so I don't want to be an awful human being. But to me, that's the difference is my grandmother was... Poverty doesn't even begin to explain their situation. There were times my mom has said that they had bacon grease on toast for breakfast because it had calories. That poor.
Yeah.
And she still had the intention and was able to plan for all of that. I guess she didn't have a job, so I mean she was managing the household, but still, it's just dang, it really says a lot about her character. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's I mean, it's difficult to even compare something like that. Again, we don't know their circumstances of the people or whatever, but it does show maybe a lack of planning, or maybe that person was asking prior, to Christmas as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Christmas was their last ditch effort, but that does stink, especially for the kids in that situation. And so it's nice if other people could help that they do. So that's always sweet. But it kind of reminds me, actually, that story reminds me of my grandparents, weirdly enough, who I felt like always would step up if, the kids didn't have gifts or anything like that. Because we came from a big family too. I have 5 other siblings and cousins, and they all live within the same area. And so every Christmas, we would all go over to my grandparents' house, and every year, basically without fail, we would get a gift from our grandparents, which was insane and quite a feat because I'm pretty sure both of them were retired. And again, not retired luxuriously or anything like that, but they put in the effort, and it was always sweet. My grandparents, which I
would get a gift in late years. Yeah.
And you can attest to this, but we would always have these great Christmas parties where we would go over to my grandparents, and my grandpa would eventually drink quite a bit and complain of a headache, and then go and take a nap, only
Quote
to emerge.
unquote a nap.
Yeah, he'd pass out. Guy could drink 1,000 beers, and that old man wouldn't pass out. Rest his soul. He'd have 2 beers, and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm woozy," and then he'd go to the back to take a nap, quote unquote, and then he'd come back through the front door dressed as Santa Claus every year, where he would give out the gifts that all the kids would have, and everybody in the family,
feel like
not just kids.
I need to paint a mental picture.
Please go ahead.
I know you grew up with it, but I was introduced to it when I was like 16.
Yeah.
So like I saw this with like fully formed eyes. And basically what it looked like is, I mean, his grandpa is the perfect like off-brand Santa too, because he had a beard and a belly and like rosy cheeks,
Yep.
you know?
Yep.
But so he'd go hide and pretend to nap, change into whatever Santa garb he had. But every year it was a different country.
We'll say aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
It was a different aesthetic. It was always Santa themed, and he would always come out with a horrendous accent from somewhere that
from
he picked
somewhere
up.
in the world. And it was just always entertaining to see what character he would choose to play. And I just feel like I needed to make that point.
No, it was so fun. And he would stay in character for like a full solid 40 minutes and like hand out all the gifts to all the kids, all the parents, everybody. And then we would all open
every
them
person
together,
in the room.
and then we'd all hug him and kiss him and send him on his way. And then Grandpa would emerge, and we'd give him shit about missing Santa Claus again.
Yeah.
And it was fun. We did that every year for
that's
like
such
20
a good
years
tradition.
straight, basically, until we lost him 2 years ago.
What's so funny is, which we miss your grandpa dearly.
Yeah.
He was a great man.
He was a great man. Very fun.
The most sarcastic man I've ever met in my life. I can
count on one hand how many like serious conversations I had with that guy.
Yeah, he was so just like laughing at everything he was saying and so sarcastic about everything he's saying. I knew him for 7 years, 8 years?
Yeah.
No, more than that. 12 years? I don't know. And I swear I never knew either if he was kidding, or if he was coherent, or if like he was meaning to like joke around. I don't know.
Yeah.
Great guy.
No, he's just another one of those grandparents who grew up really poor from Nebraska. So he would always talk about how he could see outside from the walls of his room, like just through the walls. Basically, it was just like slats on, and Nebraska ain't warm.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, interesting guy. Always went above and beyond. Both my grandparents did, and that's not to throw shade at my parents either. Maybe I could ask you, because I want to praise my parents as well. What do you think your best gift that you've ever gotten was? Because mine is from my mom and dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking of giving this some thought, and we had some pretty spoiled Christmases. Particularly my dad, I think, would forget to have any kind of budget for Christmas, and he would go hard. There was one year we got American Girl dolls, and I got one of those life-size lions like that you get from the zoo. You know, the huge stuffed lions? And lions were my favorite animal, so I could sit on them. Yeah. It was great. That felt like the most spoiled Christmas I had ever had. We were like giddy. American Girl dolls, like at the time we didn't even understand the lore behind American Girl dolls. When we got them, we could just tell they were like immaculate dolls.
Yeah.
I got Kit, and Kaya got Kaya, of course. But I think that was probably one of the more notable Christmases I had. But I did want to note, gift-wise, on the best gift I've got, I feel like in my life, was from my mom and sister when I was 14.
Oh, I remember what this was.
Yes. And I had been
This makes me giddy, actually.
I know.
This is
I had
so cute.
been a whiny, mopey teenager for
You were unbearable.
a few months. I was a OG believer, everyone. I was a Justin Bieber stan.
To this day, we still have a box of Justin Bieber memorabilia
Is that true?
in our basement. Yes, we do.
What?
I have
that my mom
Yes.
gave to us, probably. Yeah.
She stored and gave to us. I think I have
I
a
would get
Belieber
those-
hat.
Yes.
Like a flat cap in the basement.
I would get those like teeny bopper news magazines,
Mm-hmm.
and I would cut out every poster or photo of Justin Bieber, and
You
I
had
had
a
him
life-size
glued
poster
across
of him?
my wall. I had a life-size cutout of Justin Bieber. Anyway, I had slowly decided
Sweaty.
I was getting older, and there was some controversy about Justin Bieber. I think he had smoked a joint, and I was like, "Oh no,
no.
he's a terrible person."
It's a terrorist.
So I was kind of losing my faith in my belief in being a believer. It was so sad. And one day I remember saying to Kaya, we were in the kitchen, and I think I was literally teary-eyed. And I was like, I'm just so sad that I'm getting older. And the person that I was such a big fan of in my childhood, in my prime, isn't going to keep the same, like, standing in the world, and I'm gonna miss his tour when he's the hottest pop star in America. And apparently somehow that worked, because I think they had, when I was bummed about it, I think they had announced the tour and like it wasn't coming to Boise, so I just had given up because
Yeah,
I wasn't ever assuming I'd be able to go. So obviously with all that foreshadowing, and a couple, it must have been a few months leading up to Christmas or my birthday, I don't really know, but one morning my mom and sister came up to my room and they woke me up with tickets to a Justin Bieber concert
In Seattle, right?
in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we drove all the way out there. I think it was like 6 hours. The concert was that night, I think. And we drove all the way out there. I remember just like listening to Justin Bieber all the way there. I don't remember if I think maybe I made a poster, maybe not. All the believers out there will know, I was like fantasizing, manifesting being the one less lonely girl that he calls on
Oh
the
my
stage.
God.
I was like, how can I do my hair so that I'll look the loneliest, so that I can be one less lonely girl? And anyway, so I went to the concert that night. My mom didn't go. She just sent me and Kaya in. So poor Kaya had to endure.
Good move by your mom.
One thing that I do remember is that he flew out of the ceiling
What?
with wings made of electric guitars.
Oh my God. That is so cringe.
Yeah. And anyway, so I got to see Justin Bieber at the tail end of his prime, like when all the
Did
fanatics.
Kaya like the concert?
Kaya's a good time, so I think she enjoyed being there with me, but she wasn't a fan. Like she was like, it's entertaining to watch my little sister freak out about stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even remember singing along or like even being that insane. Kaya could probably remember better than me, but I was just like enamored by just being there. I don't know. It was amazing. So that was the best gift I ever had, because the surprise factor of being told that day we were going that day, it was like a pack your bags, we're leaving to go see Justin Bieber today in a different state. I was just like, couldn't believe it. It's crazy.
Yeah. I'm happy for you.
Yeah,
That's
and
amazing.
plus I was like a teenager, so like everything is like 20 times more dramatic. And so it was just like, wow, you know? So that's my best gift.
I love that. I think that was a great story.
Besides every gift you've gotten me ever.
Oh, I was waiting for it. Thank you. Thank you.
What about you?
Best gift I ever got. I've gotten a lot of really great gifts in the past and from a lot of really great people. But I'd say the gift that had the most impact and the most like I remember the most was something I was completely surprised about I think it was like, I don't even want to guess the time. I want to say like 2010-ish.
Okay.
Something like that. But I was about the same age as you. I was still very into like video games at the time, but I hadn't upgraded my system in like forever. So I was still on like original Xbox, and like Xbox 360s were out, and like PlayStation 2s and 3s and all that stuff were out. And I just wasn't fitting in with my friends. I was like adopting more of like, well, I'm going to have more of an outdoor aesthetic look because, I don't have the same game systems as all my friends. I can't play Call of Duty with my buddies or whatever. So I was like, the way my house worked is that we had 3 Christmases. We had one at Grandma and Grandpa's of my mom's side. And that would get like, they had a lot of kids to get gifts for. So I wasn't expecting more than like, I don't know, maybe like a gift card or like some new toothbrush or like some socks or something like that, which was always great. And then my mom's, who was always great too. She would always give way too much. But it's still like, I never thought it would be at the level of like, oh, maybe I could get a PlayStation from her or something like that. I was like, the only way I can pull this off. Oh, and then my dad was basically the same way. They had too many kids. I was never convinced that we could pull something like that off. And I didn't really ask for it. I asked for a bunch of other stuff and like airsoft stuff and
I think
outdoor things.
Didn't you kind of have, maybe this is just an assumption on my part from what I've heard. It's like you had on years and off years. Like sometimes you'd get bigger gifts and other times maybe not.
I mean, I'm trying to kind of tippy-toe around it because Christmas presents and giving and stuff is such a sensitive topic anyway, because people do what they can and sometimes it's a lot and sometimes it's not a lot. But we always had great Christmases. I never not had a Christmas to like open something or at least have the opportunity to give something to someone else, which was always really nice. But this Christmas in particular, I was like, I don't think I could ever pull off getting a PlayStation 3, which is what I wanted, really, really bad, unless I was able to band my parents together
to
buy one for me. Yes. And I had this whole like, God, I wish I could say I was like super organized about it. I wasn't like trying to do what's that like Freaky Friday one about the parent trap. Yeah. I wasn't like parent trapping this whole thing out, but I was trying to figure out a way to where I could like get them both in the same room and like just start being like, PlayStation 3, like I wish somebody would buy it for me, kind of a thing.
I think you're making it sound like you were way younger than you were. I think you were like 14.
No, I know. I was.
You said like 8 before, so.
I didn't say 8. I said 13 or something. Did I? I gave a year.
Whatever.
I thought it was like 2010, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Whenever the PlayStation 3 came out, like a year or two after that. But anyway, so all of that to no avail. I was like, there's no way I'm getting this. So I put a bunch of small stuff, which I normally did, things I actually wanted. I'm also very particular with my Christmas gifts. It's like my beige flag. If you ask me what I want for like a gift for a birthday or for Christmas or whatever, I will give you like a PDF of like where you can buy it and like links and stuff and prices. Like, give me only this, please, because I did my research and I know what I want. But anyway, I did that with my parents like I always did. And I opened all my gifts on Christmas morning and I was at my mom's house and she said, well, what's that? And I said, well, what's what, Mom? I opened all my gifts. And she's like, well, what's that by the door? I was like, what do you mean, what's that by the door, Mom? And so I go and look, and lo and behold, here's one last gift. And I'm like, well, who's it to, Mom? She's like, I don't know. Maybe to go check it out. So I go and check it out. And it says to Dakota and Tucker. And I was like, this is so great because I'm the older brother, which means that if it's awesome, I'm taking this shit. I'm not giving him anything. That's awesome. And so we go over there, we open it together, and lo and behold, it is a PlayStation effing 3 with, as I predicted, one controller, so it was mine, and a copy of Skate 2. And let me tell you, man, I probably played it that day for probably like 14 hours.
Wow. Yeah.
It was so like, I never thought I would have one, especially like kind of a newer console like that at the time. It was crazy. And it was off the chisane and I loved it. And I literally didn't sleep for like 2 days because I was playing it too much. I must have wore a hole through that copy of Skate 2. I played it every day. It was so fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So to round all of this out, I feel like we should talk about gift giving, generally speaking.
Sure.
Because I feel like it's a divisive topic when it comes to relationships. Maybe not even just the romantic kind, which are typically what we're talking about, but with your family, your friends, your neighbors, your cousins, everybody. And I feel like I kind of want to call out, here's my hot take of the episode. Dakota always has hot takes. the weenie whiny gift givers of the world.
Who's the weenie whiny gift givers of the world?
You know them.
Call them out by name.
You know them.
What's their address?
You know the type. The people who are like... I'm not talking people who just don't have the time or energy and just like do gift cards. I think they're awesome. Even I give the occasional gift card with strategy.
They're helpful sometimes. I like those.
Sometimes people just want and need some money. That's great. I love a gift card, actually.
Send in gift cards,
That's different.
guys.
But I'm mainly talking about the people who can afford gifts and to give them, like reasonable gifts, or at least have the time equity or energy to make a little something, or at least sign a card with some intention, who just like whine about having to buy, like this attitude that like, ugh, I have to buy so many people gifts. Like it makes me upset because I'm like,
that's not obvious.
you need to be grateful that you have all these people in your life. And if you have the means to do so, go out and have a shopping trip and buy people shiz. Like that's a blast. Are you kidding me? And like, it's all about channeling your thought into someone. And I know that can be overwhelming for people, but honestly, get over yourself. That's my opinion. Is like, you are so fortunate to have people who love you, or at least who are generally good acquaintances, or people who are like constants in your life, who deserve to be recognized even slightly through some sort of gift.
So you're like firmly pro gift giving.
Yes.
Then. Yeah.
Yes. Why not? It's because gift giving is for you, not even for the person receiving the gift.
I agree with that.
And if I believe if you have resistance to Christmas or the holidays, you know, the people who are just like generally bitter about holidays. And I'm not talking about the people who are sad because of obvious sad reasons, but the people who are just choosing to be bitter about the holidays because, you know, they say it's a consumerist holiday and what's the point and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know, can't you just let people be happy? And can't you just join in on the fun? Like, the point, I feel like the point of living is to have consistent points of joy and intention to bring into your life. And even if you do it ironically, you should be doing it. Like, be silly about it.
Yeah.
Is anyone really loving the movie Elf like it's the best piece of cinema they've ever seen in their life? No. They like to see a grown man dressed like an elf because it's funny. Same thing with stuffing a sock full of whatever, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's all for good fun and for cheer, you know, and intention and gift giving and appreciation and gratitude and just like giving, you know?
Well, I wish I could like offer a contrarian viewpoint, but like honestly, I feel like that's why we work well together. Like we have a section of our budget allotted just for gift giving each month because first of all, it is for us. Like we get so much joy out of it. And if it's left over, like we've even gotten like weird little Target gift cards that we just give out to homeless guys. And it feels so good to do that. I don't know. Like if gift giving is not your thing, if you don't get the same kick, I'm not going to give you crap about it. There's a lot of people who have this belief that like, if somebody's in your life forever, like a family member or something like that, it's like, well, I'm going to give you a $50 gift and then you'll give me a $50 gift and we'll just keep doing this back and forth until we die or whatever. And it's like, that's one way to look at it. But also you could see as you guys get 2 interactions a year where you guys get to exchange like appreciation for each other. I think that's so good. That's worth $50 to me.
And I feel like a lot of the time in life, it's the fun, arbitrary missions that make life entertaining and break up monotony. So like a memory that sticks out in my mind, which is a little bit of a tangent, but one time you and I were going to make a mixed drink of some kind, like an alcoholic beverageino back in like 2 years ago. And we were running around from store to store to store to store to store to find lychee syrup. Yeah. And we could not find it anywhere and it was driving us crazy, but we were having the best day on this mission. We didn't even end up making the drink because we literally never found the lychee syrup, but we
did at H Mart. Yeah.
Oh, well, there wasn't an H Mart in Moscow, Idaho.
I thought that was in Philly.
No, this was years ago.
Oh, interesting.
We had Idaho grocery stores to be
Yeah,
shopping
no, there's
for
no
basically
lychee in
an
Idaho.
Asian tropical fruit.
Yeah.
And I just remember that day, you and I saying to each other, like, wow, this is some of the most fun we've had in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And all we've been doing is driving from store to store, desperately looking for lychee syrup.
Well, what do you think that reason is? Like, it's just doing new things, right?
Yeah, it's like going to a different corner of the store with an intention to find something you've never had to find before.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the same thing with the hunt for gifts is like this side quest to like be really intentional, to like listen to what people really like and like stalk their social media or ask their direct family members or friends what they want, or just like try to think about the things that you loved that have changed your life that you want to give to someone else. Like that's just all good and fun, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like to that point, like that's true all the time, of like experiencing new things is fun and it's timeless and you get to be present in it. And I feel like that's a lot about what makes Christmas magic the Christmas magic that it is. I feel like folks have traditions and they have things that they do every year. But as long as you bring a new spin to like bring some extra oomph into your kid's life or into your partner's life or whoever you're spending Christmas with, if you put that extra intention and that extra newness, that going a different mile or hitting it from a different angle kind of a thing, I feel like that is what keeps Christmas going and what keeps the spirit alive in the holidays.
Yeah. For example, this year, Dakota got me a vintage typewriter.
I did indeed.
Which I love. And I've wanted for probably 5 years now.
Probably, yeah.
And I finally have one, and it works, and it is beautiful.
Shout out to that professor I met. I don't know his name, but he works at Villanova. Super nice guy.
Yeah, but I think a layer that made Christmas really special this year is you did a whole 11-part scavenger hunt for me to go find it.
And you were so bad at figuring out all the clues.
Your clues were poorly written.
They were very good.
But it was a blast.
Yeah.
And you brought intention to it because you knew, first of all, you didn't home make me a gift and you kind of cheated.
There's always a but.
But the good part is we both knew there wouldn't be a lot of gift opening this year because it's just the two of us or whatever folks mail us. So there wasn't a lot of presents to shred through.
Yeah.
So just elongating those moments through like a scavenger hunt was really special. And I appreciated it.
Oh, you're welcome. Do you have a favorite one, a favorite riddle that you did?
That you did, you mean?
That I did?
Yeah, one clue that you wrote said something along the lines of, the next clue you can find is soft, tight, and goes up your butt. And I was like, are you kidding? I'm a very vanilla person, so nothing goes in my butt. And I was very confused. And then the funny part was I realized he meant my underwear drawer because of thongs.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh really hard.
Well, you were also being snotty that day, and it said, "What's been soft, tight, and up your butt lately?" And then you looked at me and you're like, "What's up my butt?" And I was like, "Not literally." Well, I guess in this case, yes, literally.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. You got so pissed off at that one. Then I saw you walk up the stairs and you were laughing.
I was like
screaming.
scream laughing. Yeah,
God, it was so funny. Yeah.
And then one of them was something about so since we've moved into this house, we've had a flood in our basement twice. And in some ways, fortunately, in our basement, there's a toilet that ends up leaching all of the sewer out of it.
Yeah.
And there has been 2 occasions now where we've had to scrub our own fecal matter off the basement floor because our sewer has backed up in our basement. So one of your clues was leading me down to the basement to the wretched toilet.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
It wasn't a glamorous.
No, it threw you off though.
Yeah, scavenger hunt, but it was fun.
I like to keep it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a good example of bringing intention to it. So I don't know. I feel like it seems like the common themes to me through all of these holiday traditions that we've talked about and about gift giving is like, I feel like the key to an intentional holiday season is just consistency. like showing up. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I don't know. Like, what would you rank this Christmas that we just had?
Is that nice to do to this Christmas?
I don't care.
I mean, I'd probably give it a 7, but I'm me and I give a lot of things
give it like a
7.
6. Yeah.
Oh, really? A 6?
I think what makes Christmas is, unfortunately, family.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it's
that's not
togetherness. I think
unfortunate, but-
well, it's unfortunate for us because we're not around any family,
Yeah.
and we're not around anybody who I believe I would care to share Christmas with.
Mm-hmm.
Which really dampers it kind of a little bit. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like there are
is
aspects
tough.
that we did do that I really enjoyed. I loved sending out gifts. That was so great. And I felt elated every time I got a text message thanking me for them. Again, it's for you. Like you send out gifts so that you can get the things. Like it's I'm selfish in that way. It's awesome. But we did that. I felt really good about that. Like that was a 10 out of 10. But then like, you know, our traditions and the things we chose to do, it just, I don't know, maybe it just felt a little flat for me, particularly because I'm just used to celebrating it with so many different people.
Yes and no. We also don't have any traditions that we uphold.
I know.
Yet.
Yeah.
So
We're working on it.
yeah, like the idea of the piñata. So maybe we'll have an update next year on the podcast on how we've evolved holiday wise.
Yeah. We're still going to have our big year-end breakdown. That's not an episode. It's just something we do of
Yeah.
like we're outlining more of our goals, outlining more of next year's what we're going to accomplish kind of things. I encourage you guys all to do it too. And since it's fresh on the mind, maybe you guys could talk about what you want to do next Christmas or where you want to be or who you want to spend it with and set those intentions early and often, because I feel like we should do that now just so
Yeah.
that we can get ahead of it a little bit more. So I always feel like it sneaks up because Christmas time gets so busy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
you worry. I'll keep it alive.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Should we get to questions, you
Yeah.
think? Okay.
Let's take our break and come back with some questions.
Okay. See you in a minute. Bye. Sorry to interrupt this week's episode, folks, but we'd like to remind you that if you enjoy what you're listening to please consider subscribing and sharing our podcast. Also, don't forget to leave us a review on all major podcast platforms.
We're about to roll into our Q&A portion of the episode, so if you'd like to be featured next time, hop over to Instagram and submit your question to us at JuiceBagPod. Now let's get back to it. Welcome back!
Ooh,
That was a good one.
that was a good one.
Crisp.
How was your break?
Oh, it was good. I actually got a message from an anonymous listener
Ooh.
whom was asking where to submit questions anonymously. And we realized a flaw in our system,
Yeah.
which is, you know, we said we would answer them anonymously, which is true. We've had submissions and I could see why people would be shy because if we know who they're in a relationship with, they may not want to be like, what do I do if this dumb hoe is smelly or whatever? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then we would know which dumb hoe they were
No,
talking
the
about.
juicy ones come in anonymously.
Yeah.
So huge flaw in the system, but we have since updated
It's
our system to where you guys can now submit questions anonymously via a new link that we just added to the website. So if you go on to our
Not website.
If you go onto our Instagram, our link in bio has all the stuff that you guys will need.
You'll want to go to JuiceBagPod on Instagram, and then our little link in our bio, you can open up, and then you could submit your anonymous relationship questions, and we will answer them. Because, as we've mentioned before, we have a small podcast, and we will have the time to answer your questions.
You will for sure be featured on the... Except if you're a fake robot. The website that we used is already sending me spam messages.
What? Oh,
I got one that says, I think you're pretty awesome. And then another one that says, can we please get together soon? It's like,
Were
it's an
those-
anonymous thing.
were
I
those
don't
in
even
there?
know who this is.
Were those in there already? Can you delete
No, it
them?
says from a few seconds ago. So,
Oh, what the heck?
Whatever. We're working out the kinks, folks. But the good news is that if you submit, you will get featured because guess what? We don't have that many listeners, and we love you a lot, even though we wouldn't know who you
have
are.
a decent amount of listeners, but not a lot of participators.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to stir the pot and get an outside perspective on your relationships, we're ready. And it'll work out in your favor too, because the more questions we get, the less we'll talk about ourselves and the more we'll talk about you guys,
Jesus
which
God.
will probably be way more entertaining.
I
So
completely agree.
let's begin that transition by...
Talking about people who sent in questions, not about them, but they're questions.
Yeah, we have a write-in question
yes,
this
is
week.
a genuine question. And so wants to know about some tips to keep the butterflies rolling after many years of being in a relationship.
Ooh.
Somebody sounds like they're in love.
Or they want to stay in love.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. I'll go first.
When was the last time you got butterflies? Let's do that.
Oh, ooh.
In the year of our Lord 2023, about to be 2024, what year last did you get butterflies?
Get butterflies?
Circa 1996, shortly after your birth?
No, shut up. We've had some steamy 2023 moments.
Oh,
If you
do
count.
tell.
I don't kiss and tell, but I feel like we've had some.
You do kiss and smell, though. I'm telling you guys.
Screw
After sex
you.
farts with this lady. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Don't hit me. That was a lie.
Thank you. I'm going to kill you.
Anyway.
As you can see, it's clearly very hard to hold butterflies for someone like that.
Yeah. I really wonder what's wrong with you sometimes, because I
Okay.
am not good looking enough to be getting away with this.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway. You want to know what my actual answer is that you are not going to have butterflies for your partner very often after a certain amount. I learned in my human development class that love truly does evolve, and it has 3 parts. There is lust, there is companionship, and then there's one other one that I always forget. But basic,
best one.
or love, companionship, or lust, companionship, and one other one. And basically, if you have a little love triangle, you can only be 2 at once, or like have 2 major ones at once. And basically, in the beginning, you're going to have a lot of lust towards your partner and like sexual interest, most likely, and the butterflies and this eagerness to do new things with them.
The honeymoon phase.
What?
The honeymoon phase is what you're talking about, right?
And honestly, if you think about how human emotions work, and butterflies are just another way to express excitement or being anxious. And if you think about it, when you feel butterflies at other points in your life, it's usually when you're anxious, when you're excited, when
Let's
you're
say
nervous.
excited. Let's not say anxious.
Well, no, because the only difference between all of those emotions, they're the same feeling. They're just a different perspective.
I guess, but I'm just saying the positive perspective would be to say excited as opposed to anxious or nervous.
I know, but the point I'm trying to say is all of these emotions are equal in their representation, and butterflies is one of them. And if you think about, the reason I bring up anxious is because the first time you speak the first time you speak up at work, you're going to have butterflies. You're going to be anxious. But maybe the next time a little bit less, and the next time a little bit less, because you'll have practice at it. Excitement. Maybe your 10th birthday was the most exciting of your life, but year after year, it's like, your birthday's not quite as exciting because you know there's going to be cake and there's going to be hats and there's going to be people. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Okay.
And so same thing with relationships. It's like, you've been in the relationship and you're comfortable and you have a companion, and the type of love that you feel has evolved, and the butterflies that you feel are what you make them. And so to me, it sounds like if you're hunting for butterflies, it means you're hunting for excitement or something to be anxious over. Because like even in the beginning of relationships,
well, I guess maybe the question should be how do you keep that excitement in?
that's what I was getting to. I am being a little long-winded.
That's okay.
But to me, it's seeking out ways to find excitement or anxiousness or high energy moments with your partner that just so happen to give you butterflies because you're doing it with them.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm going to disagree and push back and say that
What?
I think you should be doing new things with your partner if you
That's
want to be.
What I'm saying.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Well,
I
then
just-
say it.
I am. I'm saying, as such, in life, when you do a new thing, you'll feel anxious and have butterflies. In the same way, when in a relationship, when you do a new thing, you'll feel those butterflies. So, like I said, in 2023, I have had butterflies towards you, my husband. And that's been when we've tried new things, whether that is in a steamy way or in a new activity way. Honestly, us moving across the country together, which was going to be my main point.
Major butterflies.
Yeah. And changing and uprooting our entire lives is one of the most romantic things we've ever done together.
I completely agree.
And honestly, a lot of the time when I've seen long relationships fail, my opinion is because they both stopped
Doing new things.
Doing the
same thing over and over.
And I'm not talking like, oh, well, we tried salsa dancing last week. And I'm talking like, especially Dakota and I, we've been together for more than half of our lives at this point. We had to move across the country.
Yeah.
We were driving ourselves crazy. We were at probably one of the lowest points in our marriage. And I'm not saying moving across the country is the answer for everyone, but I'm talking big life changes or adjustments or shifts in your mental space or activities or how you view yourself, how you evolve. That's what's going to bring back the butterflies.
I agree. I think it should be doing new experiences and doing things that capture that same emotion and feeling, which is that you don't know what the outcome is going to be. It's risky. And so you're risking either joy or not. And a lot of the time, especially if it's with somebody you trust, you tend to fall on the positive side of things and you guys can elate in that feeling of having done it or completed together. Might I recommend moving across the country? Might I recommend what other people do, which is like jumping out of planes or doing crazy stuff? Like
doing some like adrenaline junkie thing you've never considered before, but it's because you've never considered it before in your last perspective. It's like you just need to walk into a
throw
new
parties
chapter
for one another. I was just reading another article not too long ago talking about how as adult relationships develop, you should be inciting play more. And so you guys should have not dedicated times, but spontaneous times where one of the partners puts together something that the other person doesn't know about. And it has to include fun and play. And didn't we talk about this on the podcast already?
Maybe
It has to
not.
include fun and play. It can't just be like a dinner or something that you guys have already gone to. It has to be like an activity that you guys haven't done before. And then like maybe something to eat or something like that. But just keeping it fresh and fun and like rolling the dice and trying out new things to see if you like it. I know that Jett and I were talking about doing this kind of thing. And I was already looking at all kinds of crazy shit we could do and go rock climbing or swimming or just stuff that we don't normally do or have never really done.
Yeah, this summer we have plans to go surfing for the first time.
I'm gonna go surfing. Yeah. I was thinking we could take like a gun course, which is like totally not our thing, but maybe it could be fun.
Yeah.
Shoot some shit.
Gun safety.
Yeah. Just, keeping the spark alive.
Yeah. Think, what would a crazy person do? And then do that because that is your judgment mind saying it's something that can never be done. And then do that thing because for the plot, you know?
I feel like, especially with adult relationships too, like romance is great, but I feel like it only takes you so far. You guys are friends as well. And you guys can
Companions.
have fun experiences together. And it doesn't always have to be centered around romance. I feel like I get a lot more butterflies with you doing things that we haven't done before or things that might be risky or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's not always like, ooh, it's the perfect dinner or ooh, I got the perfect amount of flowers or whatever. It's just
it's
that
like
doesn't make the cut anymore.
You
It's like
drive the car to the candlelit restaurant and you get the flowers
like,
you know
oh,
that you'll
candles
get.
again.
Maybe they got you a bracelet this time. And then you drive home and you're like, oh, that was so nice. Yeah, that was so nice. Like, that's why it's always going to feel the same. And that's why it's going to feel like time is passing by slowly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I would
finding
say
something new.
the relationship is getting close to over if you no longer want to do new things with your partner.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a telltale sign.
Yeah.
And
especially in like in a dating relationship. I feel like
Yeah.
in marriages, that's not the worst thing that could happen. I mean, it is if you truly have apathy and are like, I could give a crap if you're enjoying yourself or not. Like, clearly that's terrible.
Yeah, that's different.
But yeah, when you're dating, that could be kind of hard. But once you're married, I mean, as long as you have the conversation like, hey, things are getting a bit dried up.
Yeah.
Let's switch things up a little bit. Should be fun. So
Okay.
should we end it here?
Yeah, I think so. I think my 6.5 really showed throughout this episode,
Yeah.
but I promise to be better next time, guys.
Yeah. New year, new us.
Yeah, God.
We have as we mentioned, we have the link in our bio to submit anonymous questions.
Let's get it spicy this next year, guys.
Yeah.
Send in some crazy shit. I would love that.
Cast a lot of blame and resentment
Get
towards
us
your
to
partner.
Like, think. Like, give us real stumpers. That'd be awesome.
Real stumpers. Start like diving into your questions on why your parents got divorced, and we'll take our best crack at why.
Oh, yeah. That would be great.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah.
I'd be stoked to pick apart your parents' marriage.
My parents' marriage?
No, everyone's.
Oh. What if it's me anonymously?
We won't know. That's a great idea.
Any other last minute stories or anything you want to share about the week?
Nope. I think this is enough for a quick little holiday episode, and we'll be back next year.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Juice Bag. Were you surprised by what we said? We were. Oh no, is this on the internet forever? Oh God.
Can't take it off the internet. Hope we don't do this again next week.
Ooh, what if we did this again next week?
Maybe it could be like a thing. Who knows?
See you next time.
Tune in next time to find out.
Or not.
Bye.